Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. We are here today with Nathan Neal from LaunchUX. Good morning, Nathan. How are you today?
Good morning, Scott. I'm doing great.
Awesome, awesome. So correct me if I'm wrong. You are in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, correct?
Chambersburg. Yeah, that's right. It's Chambersburg.
Chambersburg, okay.
But I like Chambersburg. I
Good
think that
deal.
sounds a little bit better.
It's not that classy.
Well, that's the southern accent kicking in, Chambersburg. But awesome. So what's the weather like in Chambersburg today?
A little bit cloudy. High in the 45, possible low in low 40s.
Oh, wow. Well,
I just made that up as I went along. I'd be a great meteorologist.
All right. Well, it's a cool, crisp 70 degrees and sunny today, but it's actually, they're calling for bad weather later on. So I don't know, but we'll see. It's not till way after like 2 o'clock. So it's 11 o'clock now. So I think we're okay. So
I never get out of the office, so weather doesn't really concern me.
well, I hope you have some windows there.
Oh, we have windows.
Okay, good. Because if you don't get out of the office, as long as you got windows, you're okay. So Brandon, welcome. Thanks for jumping
Hi.
in. So Brandon, tell us what you do for LaunchUX.
So I'm the business development manager, director of partnerships, marketing guy, wear many hats here.
Okay, great.
So mainly what I do is I help IT companies and MSPs kind of set up a white label partnership with us, so they get paid for the work we do, essentially.
Okay. So, well, I think that's what we're here to talk about today. MSP Pro, is that correct, Nathan?
MSP Web Pro. It's
MSP
our
Web Pro. Okay.
subdivision off of LaunchUX that we've created specifically for MSPs. And I don't want to go into a tangent, but I had started my career in managed services. I had worked in managed services for a very long time. And I enjoyed it, but I really like doing websites and SEO a lot better.
Okay.
So 5 years ago, started my own web firm that focused in, websites and SEO. And we found that our best referral partners were IT companies. And some of them, some of the larger ones, wanted to say, hey, we have our own web development team. And with that, we came up with the concept of doing white labeling. And we've been doing white labeling now for some time. Alan Reeves, Mouse Calls, is a very good partner of ours.
Yeah.
And so we made this MSP Web Pro program. So that way you could have, as an MSP, you can have your own dedicated web team or SEO team that you can trust, that's in the continental US. We're here, we're accessible. Our results speak for themselves. And you're putting your customers in good hands and then making money for just passing off the referral, basically.
Sweet. So let me get this straight. So an IT business owner who doesn't necessarily specialize in web design, or is not a graphic designer like myself, I'm an IT business owner, but I know absolutely nothing about web design. I appreciate it very much, but a lot of our clients will come to us and say, who do you recommend for web development? So in the past, we've just been referring work to web developers, but we never made a dime off of the referral. So this way, we could actually start sourcing it in-house and white labeling it through your company and let you guys do the work. And it looks like it's coming from us, that we've got a big web development team.
Yeah,
I like it.
You can do it two ways. If you're a smaller company and they know that you're a one-person IT consultant or a smaller team, you can say, hey, we've aligned ourselves with LaunchUX. We have our brand is known across the country, so it's not like it's a brand that's not recognized. We've worked with very large firms and large brands.
Okay.
So you could even refer it to us as LaunchUX, still get a commission off of referring that business to us, but leverage our name if you don't feel comfortable telling them that you have an in-house team. But if you are that larger company that wants to outsource and have a team, you can have a team. So there's options on how you can approach it.
Very nice. Okay. Well, I like the concept. I don't know anybody else doing it, so that's great. My hat's off to you for starting this up. So what can you tell us about LaunchUX? You said the brand is known nationally.
Yeah, so the brand is known nationally. We have a lot of large companies that we do web work for, like e-commerce. We work with NetSuite, Oracle, different systems that are a little bit more complicated for the average web developer. So we like to shy away from web designer. We do design, but our websites work, which is a larger aspect of development. Um,
Okay.
so clients with more complicated problems, for example, we have a customer that sells on Amazon, they sell on eBay, they sell on their own website. All of that ties together to then go to item fulfillment, to accounting, to billing. That's more than just going and hiring a web developer on Fiverr, right?
Gotcha.
And so we can handle from those large complex problems to a standard, basic website for the average small business. And we handle that whole scale. But what you get and what we found is we've talked to a lot of IT people that would find outsourcing partners, right, that are, through these gig networks, right? And then they find that they're spending months and months. Their clients are getting very frustrated and mad at them, right? Because you're the representative. You said you could do this, and you're going through somebody that you don't necessarily know. And they're
Sure.
leaving you on the hook with a project that you're kind of stuck with. And that's why we wanted a model that MSPs could trust, work with, and know, hey, this is a reputable firm that has my back. Sure, it's not going to be as cheap as outsourcing it, overseas or whatever, but they're going to be there and they're going to support the client, and I'm not going to have to stress over it.
Yeah, that's important. So how big is your team? How many employees do you have?
We have a team of 12 right now.
Wow. Okay, that's a pretty big web development company then. It's not like a 1 or 2 man operation.
No, we have a team, and then we also have additional subcontractors for more specialty work that we reach out to. But yeah, we've
Okay.
we've really grown in the last 5 years. The business model unofficially, what's become MSP Web Pro, with our partnership with IT companies, what Brandon's been working on, has been
Okay.
really successful and really allowed us to branch into, several different states across the US, like Nashville, Dallas, Houston. Did some work in California, just all over the place. So it's allowed us to really scale. So even though we're in rural Chambersburg,
Okay.
we benefit by having lower overhead. Our costs are not super high here, and we can deliver a quality product that's higher than what you might find inside of a higher overhead city. Like
Okay.
Brandon right now is working an expansion in Denver, Colorado for us. So we're working on really expanding that footprint.
That's great. Well, listen, I'm sure everybody wants to see some of your work. Do you mind doing a screen share and sharing with us some of your projects that you've worked on for other MSPs?
Sure, I can share here. Let
Yeah.
me see the screen. And so I'm just going to go over a couple. This one is Nordic Pure. This is an air filter company in Salina, Texas. They sell air filters all over the country.
Okay.
And this is the one client that posed more challenges. They had the Oracle backend that we had to interface with within NetSuite to pool their products. So their products sell on Amazon, on eBay, on Home Depot. But ultimately, the client makes more money when customers buy directly from their website, right? Because
Right.
Amazon and eBay all want to take their share.
And let me stop you real quick. This website actually was developed on behalf of another MSP and the white label program, right?
Yes, this was with a partner in
Okay.
Texas.
Excellent.
Now we
Excellent.
did so under the LaunchUX brand, of course, but it was through an IT partnership, William Whitney with Whitney Solutions.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
So that was a really good example. We've done some stuff. This is Cyber Express with David Stanley out of Ohio.
Yep. I know David very well.
We're not really big on doing IT websites, and that might just be personally with me. I can never be satisfied with IT websites, probably because I was in that space. I normally offload that to other team members, but I was really pleased. We did this website for David. We've done several customers for him. And I was really pleased with how this turns out. And again, it's more about usability and development than it is anything else. The goal of this was to maximize conversions, or people wanting to do business with David, schedule the video call us, email us, driving all of that right from the homepage drives more leads, more.
Yeah, it's very clean.
And we find that to be most effective. I don't think Alan would mind me sharing this one. This is Flower Mart down in Nashville, Tennessee. And this is actually how we had got started together years ago. Flower Mart had their old website that actually had been hacked. And what had happened was their payment provider, their online gateway of what was allowing them to process payments in their shop, said, hey, we're shutting you off and we're no longer going to allow you to accept payments because of all of this fraudulent stuff that's happened. So until their website was fixed, they were down. So now this is not in every case, of course, but we made this work. And within a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, we had them fully live with a website, was able to handle all the credit card remediation to get them cleared up and get that satisfied. So that way they were back in business.
And they were back to making money.
Yes. And now this is actually an example of a customer that we do search engine optimization for.
Okay. Yeah.
As Brandon will say, is a great way for you as an MSP to get recurring value. Not every client's a good search optimization candidate, but clients that sell products that are higher dollar, that sell services that are higher dollar, like a roofer, a plumber, a florist, things like that, that get a good return. And investment in search optimization really pays off for them. And that gets you recurring revenue in, just like an MSP agreement would. So we have a long-term contract with Flower Mart, and they love it. We freshen up the website every season to keep the website looking fresh, to drive more interaction. So there's just a couple extra touches into it that are more than just the.
And let me stop you to be clear on something. So the SEO was like an added package that this company is paying you for, and the MSP that brought it over is getting. Are they getting recurring
revenues? So
recurring revenue from the SEO add-on, not just the site.
Yeah, that's correct. So one of the beautiful things about our SEO packages is if an MSP or IT company sells that to their client, as long as that client keeps paying for SEO, then our partner, our MSP affiliate, will get residual monthly commission every month for the life of the client. It's a beautiful partnership, because why not?
Well, recurring revenue is the name of the game now. So that's great. You got it all worked out here perfectly.
Website's not a perfect introduction. We prove our worth. We have a 93% retention rate that we're very proud of. We do the website. We do a great job. Clients are blown away. And they're like, hey, you know what? I'll try your SEO service for a couple months and see what happens. And generally, they see really good return and they stay on board. We don't even lock them into any sort of long-term agreement or anything like that. They just find value in the service, which is what you want to sell and what you want to bring to your clients. So it works out for us and the MSP.
Well, and if you're bringing in results for the client, that's really what matters. And the client sees the value, obviously. So very good.
Let me, so here's another one we did. This one we actually connected with somebody local that was handling the drone service. This is Hot Sticks.
I love that. That's awesome.
They're across the country. They're very popular in campgrounds. They do kiln-dried firewood that makes it very easy to light. So if you're not kind of a country boy, you won't be embarrassed with your family trying to light the campfire.
No more flint sticks, huh?
Yeah, no, but they're all over the place, and they have a really nice product. And again, we reach out, find local partnerships, just like an ITBOG. I see people looking, hey, does somebody know somebody that does cabling here? Does somebody know something? Does that, so we have those partnerships and those connections too, and we can make some of these nice things happen. Again, all the while it's bringing, revenue in for that managed services provider. So, it works out really good. It's a lot of fun. We get to meet a lot of major brands and work with a lot of interesting people.
Well, I really like your designs. That hot stick site is it's hot.
Well, it all depends on what the client. I mean, we don't use a template. We build it based
Sure.
on what A, the client's looking for, what B, we think is going to be effective in helping them generate more revenue,
Okay.
and it fits that model. If your client makes more money, they're going to spend more money with you. We've always known that in IT, right? If you save
That's
them
right.
money on their phone bill, they're going to buy other different services from you. If you help them bring in a website that brings them business, not only are you going to get the residual from us and the commission from us, but also they're probably going to have to grow, expand, add more computers, add more phones, add more, offices, whatever it might be. And we see that among all of our customers.
And
Very
Nathan,
nice.
let me jump in there on that. And one of the other things that we've seen a lot of, especially over the past 2 years, is the amount of happy clients that we have talking to other business owners and just saying, you have to work with LaunchUX. They got us a website in 5 weeks. We're making more money. It's really awesome because business owners talk, they join these communities, like, they're all integrated. So that it's not just about the websites, but that means, your IT company is now making more money and you have a lead for infinite other upsell opportunities.
Well, I want to ask you a question because that brings up a question in my mind. So if I'm an MSP and let's just say Hot Sticks is my client, I give Hot Sticks your name and number, and Hot Sticks actually goes with you to get the site. You build a dynamic site. Hot Sticks, the guy that owns Hot Sticks, or girl or guy or whoever, they love the site, and they're at dinner and they're talking with a friend of theirs who also owns another business, and they say, "God, we love your website. Who did it?" And so you get another second level referral. Do I, as the MSP who initially brought Hot Sticks to you, do I get that second level referral revenue as well?
That's all part of the affiliate. So technically you brought that in, yes. And
Okay.
again, you can do it as the affiliate where you refer LaunchUX, or as the white label where you sell it under your brand, and they're coming back and asking you. So either way, whether you're marketing up or getting a commission, we set up those regions. Now, except for our Rockstar partners, we really don't do exclusive territory. But if you're
Okay.
awesome like Alan, we're gonna give you some territory, right? But
Sure.
we're more than fair in that regard. But we make sure that everybody receives their fair share. That's what's important to us, because we're
Perfect.
embedded in that IT community, and I've been in that IT community, and I just see a lot of opportunity where, well, one, I see IT companies taking web work because they want to get the revenue in, but they're not necessarily fond of it or want to do it, but they want to get that check. This is a way for them to get that check and not have to worry about doing the work on top of everything else.
Okay.
The other thing is they can get that work without having to worry about outsourcing it to somebody they've never met.
Gotcha.
With the way this works, you get your dedicated account manager, mostly likely Brandon. Brandon goes through our process that we've been using for years that's been very successful in onboarding clients, where we find their requirements, what they're looking for. It's very specific and it works really well. We can gather everything that we need, and it makes our life easier and your life easier. So Brandon's kind of he's the glue that brings the IT and the business and the marketing all together as part of this.
Okay. Back to your referral question, if another business owner gets referred to us, like, why wouldn't we want to give our partners credit? It costs us nothing because our partners are charging whatever they want and we just get paid our flat rate. And then our partner's happy. Our affiliate has got me business. Now they have a new lead for their IT company. It's about building a reciprocal relationship. Like, we're friends with all of our clients and they're very happy with the service we have. And, we want to keep that up. So if it means that they get credit for a lead, it really doesn't matter to us because we're still getting the work and they get a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 extra. Everybody wins that way.
Well, I want to kind of go back to a topic we were talking about a few minutes ago, the SEO. SEO is kind of like the elephant in the room a lot of times. Everybody thinks that they have a magic solution. Do this to your website, and you'll get all these new visitors. And I'm just not sure that it works that way. What can you tell us about how your approach, LaunchUX approach to SEO?
SEO is an art form, in our opinion. And so we approach it from all the different angles. There's not one pill that you can take that makes a website successful online. We find, and I'll break this down to 3 sections. We find a lot of companies that will sell tools like SEO software, right?
Mm-hmm.
The software is just that. It is a tool. I have a chainsaw sitting in my shed that I've never used, right? That tool's only as good as what I do with it. So we just did a consultation with the client. They had been paying for this SEO software for years. They've been paying $300-500 a month. They said, "What am I getting?" I said, "Well, you got to log into a software platform that you're not using. So that's not bringing you more leads in. You're not getting anything out of that." The other thing we find is a lot of media companies like newspapers and other different things resell these SEO services, which again is kind of like a software that's really not doing much anything. Maybe listing management, maybe some directory management, which does help. But what we do, and here's where our approach is different. I'm an IT guy. So we're approaching it from a technical perspective.
Okay.
If your website's secure with an SSL certificate, the caching's proper, the DNS is right, and it loads well. Right there, you've got a good foundation for Google to say, "Hey, this website works well. It's going to provide a good experience." On top of that, you add the content SEO, which is your meta descriptions, your alt attributes, all of the things that Google sees. It's kind of like I refer it like as dating Google, right? Google has a certain set of interests and we have to woo it to make it you want to rank in there. So you got to handle that. And again, you got your link building strategy, you got your blog and content strategy. But anyone that's going to sell you just a single tool or just sell you SEO, be very wary of, because SEO is not one thing.
Sure.
Like managed services is not one thing. You have the cybersecurity, the phones, the computers. So, but you got people that just sell the buzzword and not necessarily the work.
That makes total sense. And I think that's a common misconception in the industry, is that, the more you pay, the better results you'll get. But I don't believe that's probably the case. You just need to pair up with a good company who's got the experience and, knows how to do SEO properly, like your company. So
and work with it. I mean, you can set your clients up and be a reseller of SEMrush or any of those platforms, but all you're giving them is a software suite. It's like giving them Microsoft Word and expecting the business just to create letters. It's exactly the same scenario. You're just giving them a piece of software. It doesn't do anything without an operator at the helm.
So I had discussed SEO with another web developer at one time, and I was kind of blown away. They said, even SEO is so meticulous. Like, you should go in for every image you load on a site. You should go in and label that image so that Google can go in and pick up for people for, I guess it's the accessibility.
He or she is 100% correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Google, although its AI can see the images, it looks at what's called the alt attribute.
Yep.
And so that's like the alternative attribute if it doesn't load the image, which is also good for accessibility and ADA compliance. That's a whole other bag of worms that I'm not going to get into. But he's exactly right with the with labeling all the images. Same with all of your pages. You got the descriptions. Imagine you have a WordPress website. Most people have that. You have categories, right, for your blog.
Sure.
Well, all of those have descriptions and tags that should be loaded in. You have authors. If you have a user ID, you have an author page. All of that has metadata that needs to be loaded in. And at the same time, maybe you're using a WordPress theme or you're using plugins that are really hurting that performance. I have seen companies come to us that were paying $4,000 a month for SEO for years, upset with their SEO provider that they weren't getting any sort of benefit. The SEO company was actually doing a great job, but they neglected the technical part when it comes to the caching and the web housing. So we were glad to take those customers on, fix the technical issues, have them jump to the top of the rankings, and then we've locked in that contract because now we solved their problem.
Gotcha. When something probably minor was being overlooked for a long time.
But marketers don't look at the technical aspect. That's what you get with LaunchUX, is someone that understands not just marketing, but how the internet actually works.
There you go. That's important.
That's the difference.
I don't know. As an IT business owner, I still struggle with how does the internet actually work sometimes.
It's magic.
So, I know. Granted, though, I'm not a web developer or designer, integrator. I just know how to use Google Chrome. So,
but DNS is another large thing, and I'm sure, I always joke with my team, anytime there's a problem, it's always DNS.
Yep.
That's what I always say. But you get a lot of web companies, and we've had people come to us, even other web companies have called LaunchUX and said, hey, my client's email is now not working, or this isn't working. I think I messed up their DNS. So we've been subcontracted by MSPs on other things to fix DNS issues. So it's not something like we advertise, but yeah, if you have DNS problems, we can probably fix that for you just because we're used to it from the back end.
Yep. Well, that's a long time joke in the IT industry, isn't it? If there's a problem, it's always DNS.
It is always DNS. Though.
In some fashion, somebody's DNS, maybe not your DNS, but somewhere along the line, it's DNS. So,
well, that's another a good thing, because this is a technical audience we're speaking to. I know some MSPs like to host their own DNS servers. You got to also make sure that your response times are fast on them as well, or you might be actually doing your customer a disservice. And those are things we can look at. But even more specifically, so outside of that technical aspect, what we do at MSP Web Pro, I want to talk about the program for a second, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you partner with us. We have a website all loaded up here in a second, but you partner with us. Let's say you have a potential lead, right? This is how much we support you. If you have a potential lead or a customer, and they're like, oh, I'm already paying for SEO. You send that information over to us. Within a day, we provide you an SEO report that shows you, hey, is everything good? Are there problems? Are there things we can improve? Sometimes it's fantastic, right? But you don't know unless you ask, and we provide that with your branding on it. So
nice.
That's the benefit of being a member. So not only do we benefit from you setting sales our way, but you benefit by us providing our expert information pre-sales. That way you can show your customer, hey, I have this information that maybe is useful for you.
Wow. And it's all done. It can be white labeled under the MSP's brand.
Yes.
Making the MSP look like a rock star when you guys are the brains behind the work. So I love it.
If we get paid, we don't care who takes credit.
There you go. Long as we're getting paid. I like it. Well, and everybody's getting paid at that point. You're getting paid. If you're getting paid, the MSP's getting paid.
And the client's going to be getting paid because they're going to be getting more referrals, more leads, more inbound traffic. So
that's right. More results.
It literally works for everybody.
Well, I have to tell you, it's a little off the beaten path, but I love the logo, LaunchUX logo, and the rocket ship. I just, you sent that graphic to me, and I was looking at it. I said, that is a great webinar graphic event cover, because it's got everybody loves a spaceship taking off, or a rocket taking off, and they're very powerful when they take off. So I like your branding and the way that you market LaunchUX. So I see why it's national now.
Some of that's owed to brand, and we are quirky and we are fun. I'm a little bit odd, as all of us are a little bit.
An odd IT guy.
Yeah, and Brandon told me it's not a problem to embrace that, so we've embraced it. Our website is quirky and fun. It's got a astronaut playing soccer on the one page. It's filled with space puns and all sorts of stuff. So we embrace the inner nerd. We just sent an employee of the month into the newspaper with them wearing a lab coat like a doctor, like just silly things like that. Because we like
you got to be creative.
Experience,
Yep. It's all about creativity, especially when you niche out into the, web development side of things. So there's a lot of
And
little intricacies.
we also like to keep things like very lighthearted because we understand that having like the perfect website for a business can be incredibly stressful
Okay.
because they want it to be perfect. Like it's like people with their smile. They want to have a nice smile because it's what people see when you first meet somebody. And so that's what it is with the website. The website's is probably the first thing a lot of customers are going to see of your business. And so we made our website to be fun, friendly, and our relationships with our clients and our partners is very lighthearted. We are incredibly professional. We want people to know that we have a lot of fun doing this. Like this is just our passion. This is what we love doing.
Well, and that's important. Like you said, everybody goes to Google everything now. If you want to learn about a business, the first thing you're going to do is look them up online. So you've got to these companies have to have their best foot forward right from the get-go. That's very important. Absolutely.
Here's one of
Back to
website help will rocket man.
Yeah, right. So Nate, I think you should talk a little bit about like Google indexing and SEO, like a timeline, because that varies client to client, and we need to like manage expectations from the get-go.
Yes, with SEO, and what I think makes us successful is setting client expectations. You're not going to go from zero to hero overnight. You got to remember that we're waiting on a third party. And anybody that's dealt with Google support or Microsoft support knows that they do things in their own time, right? So it can take 3 to 6 months to really start to gain that traction. And you got to lay that foundation down. So what we always try to explain to our customers throughout the process, and they'll be your customers as well, what we're doing, what steps we're taking, and where we're at on the timeline. Because there are going to be the first several months where you may not see a difference, but we're building up to what Google's going to index and eventually populate into the search results. If anybody promises you results sooner, that they're full of it, because it's impossible. You have to run through the cycles that Google runs through. So, I was talking to a roofer over the winter, and he goes, well, it's my slow season. And I said, fantastic. Now's the time to get started, because then when you get in and people are actually looking for you,
you've already got a presence.
You've already got a presence. So this isn't like putting an ad in the newspaper. This is a long-term commitment for your business to establish yourself as an authority in the space, especially if you are a service provider. If you're working with a private practice doctor, a dentist, an HVAC company, a plumber, people providing professional services generally very, very much benefit from SEO and continue to pay and keep those residuals coming in. Also, if you have larger e-commerce customers, those also benefit very, very much from SEO. Now, if you have somebody selling like handmade bracelets, probably not a good SEO client. They're probably not going to see the value from, doing that program with us. And we understand that. And that's the important thing, is understanding that not every client's a good fit. And we're fully upfront with that from the moment we first analyze your client. If we think it's going to make them more money, we're going to tell them. If we don't, we're just going to be honest about it, because that's our reputation.
Well, I think that was a valid point you brought up earlier in this live stream. You said, not everybody's a good candidate. If you've got a 50 cent or $1 bracelets that you sell versus $100 item, the SEO is going to be better and more targeted towards the higher valued item.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say you couldn't do the lower value, but the return might be different, right?
For a roofer using like a basic SEO package, he generally can see a return with one job. So if we got him one job, he's already realized the return on that. So that's an easy investment to justify. Same with like an HVAC system or a patient or anything else like that. So those are customers that really see the value, because they see, a 400 times return.
Or a landscaper, for example. Do you want to pull up a CVTS website, show off?
Yeah, we've been working with, now this is one that we work with here locally in Chambersburg, Cumberland Valley Tree Service and Landscape. We've been working with them since before LaunchUX was LaunchUX. And they have increased by leaps and bounds. I'm not saying that's all because of SEO. They do a lot of great stuff internally and they're really growing, but their organic traffic year over year has been increasing. And when we looked at their numbers for the last 4 years, their traffic had increased by 245%.
Wow.
And that's not junk traffic coming, from other countries. That was local based regional traffic. So that's rather significant when you're growing your business and you're establishing yourself, like here's their map, as the authority, as the go-to company in these areas, to where if I'm Googling for tree care, tree service in these areas, that they're the first one that comes up. They're going to get the business. They're getting that return. And again, 1 or 2 tree jobs, probably less than 1 landscaping job, more than covers even our top tier SEO plans. And again, you're getting recurring revenue on it. Your clients are happy because they actually have a marketing program that's doing something that you can physically hold and see the results. With the newspaper or print ad, you really don't know what you're getting. I'm a big fan of radio. I've advertised on the radio for over 8 years. And I get
really?
I get leads from that, but I can't quantify it like I can from my website. My website, I can tell you exactly how much it costs and what I make.
Well, the analytics are there. In radio, it's kind of hard to judge who's listening.
Yeah, and you don't, they might not remember where they heard it, things like that. So that's where this is significantly valuable. But yeah, this has been a very good long-going customer.
That's one of the beautiful things about SEO is that it's one of the only marketing platforms, mediums that is 100% trackable. You know where everybody's coming from. You know what they're clicking on their website. It's the only thing that can tell you everything you need to know about impressions and marketing with that medium. It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
Very nice. Well, I am sold. If an MSP partner in the audience is watching and wants to team up with you, what is the best way to get in touch with you, Nathan?
So I've actually thrown this up there. So they could either contact us by going to LaunchUX and going to the contact us page. And, they can actually drop down and, partner with LaunchUX, select that for information. But what I really want to encourage is for them to go to the MSP Web Pro site.
Okay, mspwebpro.com. All right.
mspwebpro.com. This is specifically made for this program. And, we have some information here that includes what we've talked about today. Hey, that looks familiar.
I love it.
But this is the process. You put in an application. We introduce ourselves, get to know you. You refer clients, you sit back and relax and, get paid. But again, up in the menu here, we have a partner with us form. It's actually very simple to fill out. It's only like 3 little short sections. Just get in the essential information like your name, your address, where you're from. We do ask for a W-9, but it's not required to complete the form. But obviously, if you do business with us, we're required to, issue those types of taxes.
How to handle the legal stuff. Yep.
Yeah. So, the sign up is really simple. And then from there, Brandon handles these conversations and you'll talk with me and we'll help put together a strategy for maybe how we can help you. You're not in it by yourself. Again, we have those reports where we can run those scans for customers that you want to approach to say, hey, maybe you ought to consider doing SEO. Or if you have a customer considering a website, we can set up a Zoom with them and, have that conversation. But it all starts with becoming a partner. That way we know and can set you up in our system. Is Scott a partner or is he an affiliate? Am I doing it from Scott's business name or am I doing it as LaunchUX partner of this company?
Because you guys are offering the flexibility of either or, whatever the MSP partner wants to do.
Right. Like with Alan, it's all mouse calls. Yep. Everything we're doing with him is all mouse calls branded. We have our own email set up with mouse calls, everything. It's Mouse Calls Web Team. Everything is branded and under that umbrella. And it works very, very well because he has a very strong brand there, but he didn't have a web team. So now he's able to get revenue off his clients that already trusted him for all of their other solutions to handle web and SEO. It's a natural extension.
Makes
clients
sense to
are already
me.
looking to us for solutions.
Yep. No, that makes total sense. So anything else you want to share with the community while we got you on?
It's a pretty laid back program. I mean, in terms of flexibility, we'll work with you. It's not like a boxed product. You know, what we're looking to forge relationships, and I'm going to be upfront. We're not looking to partner with every IT business owner. We're looking for the IT business owners that are really serious about expanding their business into this area. We're, you know, not just wanting to do one-off project here, one-off project there, but are looking to trust in us so that we can invest in them. It goes twofold, but I believe that with our commission and compensation, that we will make it more than worth the while for MSPs that want to jump on this as an opportunity and become a partner with us.
Well, I'm sold, much like anybody watching the show today. If you are interested, just go over to mspwebpro.com, fill out the form, fill out the information, go to the contact section. You can get all the questions answered, everything you need right there. So Nathan, Brandon, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today about this new program. I'm really excited, and I wish you guys most of the best of luck here.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for
Sounds
having
good.
us. Appreciate it.
No problem. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. We'll
You too.
chat later. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thank you.